Yeah, it's not just running with the devil. Will the devil run again? 6:23 is the time here in Houston's Morning News. There's a radical left-wing group right now who's spending six figures on an ad campaign urging him not to run for re-election in 2024. He's not the only one. The mainstream media, New York Times, they're all going in that particular direction. So what does that say about your presidency that less than 2 years in, your own supporters want you gone? Vlad Davidic joins us, Republican strategist. This might be even earlier than Jimmy Carter as far as trying to get rid of somebody who they think is doing a horrible job.
I don't think buyer's remorse even covers it. And it's, calling this group a radical left-wing group is actually a disservice to radical leftists, because this is regular leftists have gotten to the point where they don't want this guy right anymore. They understand. We know Joe Biden was not selected for his ability, his talent, his skill, his policy preferences. He was selected because the radical left and all the way up to every single Democrat in Congress decided that President Trump was horrible and needed to go, and they needed somebody to replace him. They didn't care who. Their slogan was, no matter who, vote blue. So they got this guy who is senile, has no concept of what's going on, and now they're understanding it's not working out. They need somebody else, and they're desperate.
But does this mean that they really want to change their course, change their plans? I mean, as crazy as it is, Joe Biden has managed to push through all of their deals, except for at the very last minute, some of the things that Manchin's been holding out for. So what are they going to replace him with?
That's the main question. They have nobody to replace him with, nobody who's viable. Every single other candidate who they offered up has fallen spectacularly short. Pete Buttigieg didn't win a single primary, or didn't win any single primary of consequence. Kamala Harris didn't win a single primary at all. Democrats didn't even want her as a potential nominee. That she got picked as vice president to check that diversity box. The fact is, at the end of the day, Democrats care mostly and only about the agenda, not about the person. They use candidates, they use office holders as vehicles to advance their agenda. And it doesn't matter whose name is on there, it doesn't matter whose face is on there, as long as the agenda moves forward. That's why, you don't hear much about former candidates, even Hillary Clinton. You don't hear much about them anymore, even President Obama, because they served only as vehicles. It's not about the power of the message, it's about the power of the agenda.
Do you think there's any way, Vlad, that he completes his first term? I don't.
I think he's going to be very strongly encouraged after the midterms to step aside for reasons of health, or at the very least announce very loudly and strongly that he will not seek a second term at the very least. I think Kamala Harris is very badly prepared to take on the role of President of the United States, and I think our country is going to suffer for it, but given the fact that he has no clue where he is or what he was doing, I think a serious consideration of 25th Amendment may need to be invoked if he doesn't decide to step aside voluntarily.
So who's really running the country now, since he's incapable of doing it, if this is the way they feel? And what would keep these same people from running it for Kamala?
Well, look, right now what we have leadership in the cabinet administering different departments and trying to push forward the governance of the country. The agenda is stalled in the Congress because Nancy Pelosi has a very, very tight margin there in the House, and Chuck Schumer has a 50-50 split in the Senate. And really, if you look at the numbers, 9 times out of 10, Chuck Schumer is actually the minority leader because people like Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema vote with Republicans on significant amounts of legislation. The country is split 50-50. Democrats refuse to accept that. They try to act as if they're the majority, as if they're unopposed, and their agenda is radical and out of line with what Americans want. So until we have that midterm election where Republicans can take control and actually start to govern effectively, and then 2024 replace the occupant in the White House, we're going to keep having this mismanagement of our country.
All right, Vlad, thank you. Appreciate your time. Vlad Davidic, Republican strategist.